We're definitely not getting any copyrights for this.
No. Oh, what's up, everybody? This is Dirty Kev. I'm here with
Max Walk. What?
Moose
Mayweather.
Max. Yeah, Moose Mayweather and Max Walk, baby. I love it. And this is Just Three Jobbers. We're back to review to do the thing that got us the most views so far. Review Monday Night Raw. Yeah, baby. Oh man, what a Raw it was. We could say this Raw was the Raw of the Big Show. This is kind of an interesting, terrible joke there. But is Big Show having a career resurgence right now?
It's the Big Show on Mondays.
Yeah. They need to cut that out. But we'll go into that. So,
they're capitalizing off of the massive commercial and critical success of the Big Show on Netflix, as Moose alluded to. I mean, I heard it's top 5 show of the year. I haven't watched it myself.
Is it actually a top 5 show of the year?
I haven't watched it.
I watched one episode. It was pretty tough to get through 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure for kids they can find.
Yeah, it's like a kid comedy. So
yeah, it's not a kid friendly show that appeals to me.
Oh, I got you. What was kind of cool about this episode was that, I guess it was unique. I guess they started off with the contract signing. I mean, I took down a couple of notes with this, and we can just dive into it. But I mean, just to start off, I think this is honestly a pretty good story. I like that they're going this route. The only issue and the only thing that's holding me back from truly being excited is just the fact that it's so unbelievable. I just don't see Dolph winning. That's the only reason.
Okay, sorry, I was confused. I don't know if you were talking about Big Show still or.
No, I was just diving into the
beginning. I agree with you, Kevin, on that, but I think it's. He's a really great performer. I think it's gonna be a lot. Here's a stipulation, so I'm not sure what he's gonna choose, but I think.
Yeah. What do you guys think it's gonna be?
I could see maybe I don't know. A ladder match, maybe, because he's smaller and faster.
Maybe.
And
that would make Drew McIntyre kind of out of his realm, considering he's such a big guy.
I could see him doing a ladder match, and Dolph has performed very well in all his ladder matches that he's. Yeah, I think he won the Intercontinental title at.
He's definitely won a ladder match against. He won a ladder match against Luke Harper for the Intercontinental title back.
He also won a ladder match against John Cena. No, did he lose to John? He lost to John Cena in a ladder match for the title.
Oh, so he lost.
Yeah. But it was a huge match.
Yeah.
No, wait, no. John Cena. No, he actually beat John Cena. It was supposed to be like this huge push, and it was not for. I think it was for the Money in the Bank.
Oh, he retained it.
Yeah, he ended up retaining it. And it was when he was with AJ Lee. It was pretty sick. Yeah, it was good times for Dolph.
When he was super over before he got concussed.
Yeah.
That's really the only stipulation that I could see him choosing, because that's the only one that could work in his favor. Everyone else.
I could see a table match could be something that'd be interesting. Just consider you only have to fall through it, so like you could just push.
Yeah, that one.
Super kick him. Super kick him.
I don't like tables matches. So I would not be happy if they pick that. Mm-hmm. If I'm looking at this from like a fan perspective, like what are they going to get the most, like the best match out of? I think he'll either go like a no DQ Extreme Rules type match. We can use weapons against Drew, which, that obviously would help him because, even with the ladder match, Drew's just using ladders. Drew can probably still kick his ass.
Yeah.
Or maybe going a different route, 2 out of 3 falls.
Okay.
To try to build up his stamina, to say like he can go longer than Drew. He's not a 10-minute like fast paced just wrestler, maybe something like that. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely it adds something to the feud that I think it needed, because I think a 1-on-1 match with Drew, there's not a lot of money in that, because I think it's pretty obvious Drew's going to manhandle almost anybody on the roster outside of Brock and maybe.
I think just to add to that story, Max, the 2 out of 3 falls, that would be nice, just because, I mean, Drew, Dolph has been, lately he's been kind of going with the story of I've taught you essentially everything. There wouldn't be – I've seen guys like you come and go for years, and, who's still the one person that's here. You're just it's just a phase in your life. So I think that they want us to still remember Dolph Ziggler as being the 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, not the fact that those both championships were 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks max. One of them was like a day. I think he lost it and then Edge came back or something like that. So like, it's just it's interesting that he's never truly gone that, but they kind of treat him that way. Maybe Vince just likes old reliable with him. But I think that would really add. Yeah, two out of three would be a great matchup, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that I love when they do 2 out of 3 matches for like ends of feuds.
What was that? It kind of cut out.
What was that, Max?
Yeah, that's oh no, like the 2 out of 3 falls. Am I sounding right?
No, you're talking about
I just think that it's okay. Good. Sorry, yeah.
Here, I'm gonna turn my PS4 off. I'm gonna turn my PS4 off just because I think it's taking my internet. So I just want to make sure it's not fucking around here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that 2 or 3 falls well is something that like really interests me and probably makes for a great match. Market doesn't totally make sense. So I think the ladder match like you had, Moose, was a good call, but definitely not as interesting as his feud with Lashley. That's for sure. Yeah. So
what about an Iron Man match?
Geez, I mean that would be really interesting if they wanted to do an Iron Man match. They barely do them. I mean, they might do like a 30-minute one. They've only done 30-minute Iron Man matches in the last, I think, maybe 7 years. I don't think they've ever done a 60-minute because they did Sasha versus Bayley on NXT.
Yeah.
The last one might have been John Cena versus Shawn Michaels in 2007. And then I think that also there was also a Iron Man match on Raw. It was was it Dean Ambrose and Seth versus Dolph and Drew? Did they do an Iron Man match between those teams on Raw, Kevin?
Iron Man match?
Yeah, they did like a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Oh, did they? No, I thought it was just Seth versus Dolph was the 30-minute ladder. Was it the 30-minute match?
Oh, I thought it was a tag team match. I don't know.
Wasn't
Moose just brought up the idea of
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
I would say Moose just brought up the idea of an Iron Man match, and it's interesting, but I don't know if they would do. I just don't know if WWE is going to do 60-minute Iron Man matches in this day and age anymore. I think they might be over that. 30-minute maybe, but
I would see NXT doing it. I would see NXT doing it over. Because NXT is just going into that wrestling, like the fight pit thing, like NXT.
The Great American Bash is back.
Yeah, dude, it's resembling SmackDown of 2006 with the wrestling caliber. Let's be real. The Great American Bash being back. Where's Booker T defending it against Batista? Come on, give it to me, King Booker. But yeah, dude, I thought it was also kind of funny when Asuka was just like, "I'm tired of listening to you guys," and just started yelling, and you just hear somebody just go, "What? What?" I mean, dude, it looks like, and maybe you guys are not seeing it the same way as me. Are Bayley and Sasha gonna win every single title?
I sure hope not.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I could see happening. I mean, think about this. Sasha's facing the NXT. Sasha's now facing, and that'd be a look. That'd be a hell of a look. And be
NXT Championship is
because they are the best. They're clearly.
It's a non-title match. It's a non-title match against Io Shirai. It's not.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, non-title. Yeah.
She's not going to win the NXT title.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she beats Asuka either. I think that she's going to lose.
But I've heard that Asuka is literally just a transitional champion right now.
I've heard the opposite.
They were supposed to give it to.
Where did you hear that?
From listening, I could say Wrestling Geek actually, or Ringside, one of the two. I don't know exactly. All I've from what I've listened to, what they've said is that
I've heard
Asuka is more of is not the, like, yeah, she's gonna be a face, but they just gave the face run to Becky for a whole year, so they want Sasha to like it's supposed to be the two girls face off against each other.
You want to hear my theory? Is I think Sasha loses to Asuka at Extreme Rules, and then the following week on SmackDown, that's when Bayley and Sasha get into it. And then it sets up for what's next, SummerSlam. Like I've said before, Sasha beats Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah, I mean I would like that too. Max? What did you think was going to go with this? I guess.
Okay, so I think that Sasha versus Bayley is the move for SummerSlam, Moose. But I think it'll be like a 2 weeks of build up before they do that actual breakup, because I think they have to lose the tag team championships.
Yeah, true.
Break up. So I think it'll probably be like maybe you start to see a little bit of a crack, and then they you see it start to crack. They have a title match, like, we're gonna come together, and then they lose the titles to hopefully the Iconics.
Yeah,
maybe, and then that will push them to break up for that big match. hopefully, because it feels like they've been trying to kind of tease it for months and months. So I'm hoping that's kind of what's coming because.
And it seems like they're pushing Iconics.
Oh yeah, I mean they've Iconics they've definitely gotten. Peyton Royce just beat Ruby Riott last night, so I mean that was a good match. Great.
Speaking of Ruby Riott.
Yeah.
Sorry, go Max. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was going to talk about the match for a second, just because I mean it was kind of short, but I thought that the finish was awesome. It was like a spinning brainbuster by Peyton Royce. It's been going on social media. Fantastic finish there. What were you going to say about Ruby Riott?
Before Ruby Riott's match, Lana came up and talked to her and kind of like hinted at maybe her being in a new tag team with someone. Is that
Natalia probably?
That's what I was just going to ask.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because it seems like. Do you think Liv and Ruby are going to probably come back together?
I think Liv and Ruby should.
Yeah.
Because I think that they've never been as. I mean, it's not like the Riot Squad was ever that over or that big, but they were definitely all more comfortable together and more. I mean, not that
they're best friends traveling together.
Oh yeah, I think they still are. So I think they definitely have that like friendship chemistry. You know, sucks Sarah Logan's gone, but now they can be a tag team. I don't know if they go by Riot Squad. Maybe they go by something different, but I think Ruby Riott needs something to do, and Liv Morgan is also a talent that is continuously getting better. So that, and then plus, I think Natalia and Lana could just be a tag team, or maybe it's just a manager situation.
I get that, but what happens to Nikki Cross then? Like, is she just going to get screwed over? Because I mean,
Nikki Cross is
on.
She's with Alexa Bliss.
Oh,
on SmackDown.
Sorry, my bad.
Ruby Riott. Were you thinking of Ruby Riott?
Yeah, I was thinking of Ruby Riott.
Yeah, Nikki Cross is she's now got a title match at Extreme Rules against Bayley.
Mm-hmm. And that is one thing that the WWE does need is just tag team division for the women. So right now we only have three maybe, with Kairi Sane being injured, and Asuka being the champion. So.
But I can honestly see Iconics they're gonna beat Sasha and Bayley, and then that could be like a really good feud with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott come back together.
Because they're going with this heels. They're doubling down on the heels. I feel like for the Iconics.
Yeah,
they're annoying as ever.
They've been great as ever.
Exactly.
They're great,
and they're giving me. I actually like them together. They are annoying. And good annoying. Exactly.
That's what I've always kind of tried to bring across, and just in final, I think that they're it seems they're very serious about the NXT, or not the NXT, the women's tag team division across all the three brands. And unless you're, I'd say, Nia Jax or Charlotte, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in a tag team in the women's division. I'm pretty sure right now. Mm-hmm. Put anybody together. Put Naomi and what's the former wrestler's name? Lacey Evans. Put them together. I don't know. Put people put tag teams, because then. That doesn't mean they always have to be together. They can go off of one-on-one feuds like Nikki Cross is, and like Sasha's one with Asuka, but she's a tag team champion. Like, it doesn't that's the thing, is that with the women's tag team division, they can do more so have tag teams also be in one-on-one feuds for championships, while also being in a great tag team that could also contend for gold. It just adds more legitimacy to all of them, and I just think that's a way they could do it. Because I mean, besides, I don't think Nia Jax should ever team up with anybody. She seems kind of like a lone wolf, and then Charlotte obviously is the queen. It doesn't make sense for her. But outside of maybe those two,
Tamina maybe.
Yeah, maybe Tamina and Nia. I mean, they've done that before, but I mean, they're on different brands, so that's just that'd be the only tough thing. So
it's kind of wild to think that. I don't know. I'm gonna say I'd give a shout out, and I think, did I say this last week or 2 weeks, that I feel like Bayley and Sasha have been the MVPs of 2020. Everyone online seemed to be bitching, complaining about Charlotte's being on every single show, it seemed like, and now that Sasha Banks and Bayley are on every show, I don't even see the hatred. Have you seen it? I mean, I feel like they're adding to Raw, something I think Raw, desperately needed was another I guess good team like that, or a good presence maybe.
Yeah, and I agree
for 3 hours.
And I agree with both of you guys, especially with Max, especially with Charlotte being out, her and Becky being pregnant. Your two top stars are out, so I think that's a great way to legitimize the women's division.
Yeah, who do we think will be two people that who can take their spots? I mean, I'd say you need people like Lacey Evans and Naomi. I said Lacey Evans and Naomi, this is time for them to really step into place. Maybe Natalia. People like that really need to step in that spot because that was the number one superstar on the roster, and she had a presence, and it's on right now. It's showing. I'd say especially lately. It's just she's needed.
I would say somebody that's potential to break out is Sonya Deville on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I've always thought she's legit. I mean, former MMA star, and she's got her feud with Mandy Rose. So, I mean, that's obviously got potential. I just think she needs to be – she definitely has the potential to be a legitimate badass. You know, maybe not – also, the name that we are forgetting who they've botched completely is –
Baszler. Yeah.
Baszler.
I was really thinking about that too.
Where the hell is Baszler? This is like the
That's
time. This is the time. The top heel, Charlotte, is gone. She was a heel, and
she's sick or
where
something?
Where is Baszler? No, she
hurt?
is. She is. I think she broke her collarbone. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that what happened? She's injured.
They said she's for sure having surgery on Raw last night. They confirmed that.
Oh.
They said, and Rick said it last week too on Raw as well. So yeah, she's gonna be out for months at least.
No, I thought we were talking about Baszler. We're talking about Baszler.
No, sorry, I'm talking about Charlotte. My bad.
That
was just confused. I'm pretty sure Baszler hurt. No, I'm. Well,
she's a
as
main
far
event,
as I know, she's been on main event. Are you serious? Jesus Christ, I don't know.
I don't know what Vince is thinking about that.
What the hell, Vince? The main event might be the best hour of television. Look at me. Like, let's be real.
That's what Ricochet and Cedric have been throwing down. I mean, finally we came. Can I say the best part about Raw was Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley?
Thank you. Thank you. I was so excited to go into that after
cool.
Baszler. Such a good match.
Not a great show overall for me, but this match was definitely.
I jumped. I literally was jumping
awesome.
watching this. Yeah,
and I didn't even know it was coming because it's like it went from it was like the MVP match ended and then it goes to commercial break, a little bit of a scuffle. Right? Yeah, with Cruz, MVP wins. That's also something we could talk about. But
Cruz is doing well.
And then it just comes back from commercial in the middle of a match. It's like they didn't even announce this. So it's Ricochet versus Lashley. Don't you think you'd want to maybe advertise that an hour in advance? I mean, that's a pretty big match. I would have been stoked to see, know that's going to happen.
All I'm saying is I'm going to be pissed if they make him have this good of a showing and then but knowing Vince, I feel like they wouldn't give him almost 10 minutes with Bobby Lashley on TV if they didn't want to kind of push him again. So I think this must be a part of a little bit of a renown push maybe. Because, the tag team division desperately needs somebody new, especially with Garza and Andrade looking like they might break up. That's another story. We can go into that. But I really hope, because Ricochet showed out yesterday, man, that was such a good match with Bobby Lashley. Great match, actually. I was very happy with that.
Yeah, he really showed and that's the best part about Ricochet is he's so good at selling and he's so good at the underdog stories. He doesn't have to win to get over. He showed out and obviously there's a big void on Raw with all the people. Well, obviously with Charlotte being gone, but also people that weren't on Raw this positive cases of coronavirus. So who knows? The people that were Randy Orton, the Street Profits, Nia Jax, Austin Theory, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Kevin Owens, who he announced he wasn't going to be coming.
Wow.
So no, that doesn't mean they all have COVID. It doesn't mean any of them have it at all. It's just those people that weren't on Raw. So there's a lot of people that are lost spots that are going to be, that need to make up space. I think Cedric and Alexander and Ricochet finally are getting it should have been months ago, but they're finally kind of getting their chance to, use time on Raw to get over, which I think that they're pretty much already over. They just need to have the chance to have storylines, which this is something definitely they can dig into. I like the pairing with them and Apollo Crews and the little segment with R-Truth. I thought I really had fun with that. I mean, R-Truth is just so funny every week. So
how did Apollo Crews come back? He stepped up when the spots were open. He stepped up and he took it.
100%.
So I love it. Love that. Moose, what do you I haven't heard you in a while. What do you think about this? I mean, you like Ricochet, right?
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Then he kind of just stopped being on TV. But I totally agree. That match was really cool. With the match before, I'm going to say this before, I didn't like how Apollo took the pin against MVP, to be honest. I really didn't like that, especially just off of Fisherman's suplex. But that match, like Max said, was very
it was a weird ending to have MVP win with his Fisherman's suplex. I agree.
Yeah, and then like Max said, I wish they would have advertised that match because it would have brought more viewers into the show because a lot of people do like Ricochet and Bobby Lashley at the same time.
Well, I think Vince just doesn't think anyone likes Ricochet. Vince probably thinks everyone thinks, you know, the way he wants them to think. So when he doesn't have Ricochet on TV, he probably doesn't think that anyone wants to see him, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then
Vince needs to go. Vince needs to go quarantine for 2 weeks and let Triple H and Bruce Pritchard run Raw and SmackDown. Just give it a chance. Give Ricochet a little storyline for 2 weeks and let Vince take a 2-week vacation. He deserves it.
I like that it was he fought Bobby Lashley, but I still think they're screwing Bobby Lashley over. I don't get how they have a really good match. Him and Drew have a really good match at Backlash, and then now he's, you know, just doing U.S. Championship stuff. I really don't agree with that.
I feel. What about this? Think about this. What if they're only using MVP for the United States stuff, and this gradually is something with Brock?
Yeah.
He's continually winning.
It definitely seems like MVP is more of the focus in the United States Championship, and Lashley is just there as
his bodyguard, his muscle.
I wouldn't even say bodyguard. It's just
his
like
muscle.
Kind of, because Lashley isn't, you know, it seems like MVP. The storyline with Apollo is just very MVP based. I actually saw on Twitter, this is MVP's first singles victory since 2010 on Raw.
Wow.
So, yeah, because he hasn't won a singles match since he's been back this year. So, you know, to an extent, he probably needed a win. It probably could have been to somebody else, but, I mean, it continues the storyline, which I've actually liked, having him MVP try to bring Apollo into his
circle,
stable. Yeah, a stable, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of just a group right now, no name, but I think I'm okay with it right now because Lashley is still being presented as pretty much above all these other guys. I mean,
he is, yeah.
Ricochet got maybe 5 moves in a 10-minute match. I mean, he was basically selling the entire time besides one short comeback, which then Lashley turned it around. He only got one near fall. So, I mean, he's still being presented as badass. His
Full Nelson.
Full Nelson is still, like, devastating. I mean, the way, like, he obviously got Ricochet tap, and then he puts in Cedric Alexander into it. The way he, like, tossed Cedric in it looked also gnarly. I don't know if you even noticed that.
Yeah, I saw that.
But he threw him down, and he, like, landed right on his neck, like, weird at an angle, and then, like fell over like he was dead. I mean, it was a great sell by Cedric. I'm sure he's fine, but I think he needs a bigger story. I just think Raw doesn't have that many people right now, and I think this is probably the biggest thing he's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's okay to focus on MVP and have Lashley continue to getting wins over the people he should beat until they can find somebody to wrestle Lashley that's kind of on the same level. Just because Raw it's just tough right now. There's a lot of people gone without Kevin Owens. That's one of their bigger. He's a main eventer basically on Raw when you look at him. And now he's been in the mid card, but he's the guy that can go up and down he's like a Dolph Ziggler who can go up and down the card at any point in time.
I'm nervous also, dude, that like somebody like Samoa Joe is badly needed right now on WWE TV. Let's be real. I think right now we've got 3 hours and 2 of them are being taken up by Big Show, unfortunately. And I'm kidding. I'm being dramatic. I'm being definitely dramatic with this. It's just the facts, though. It's something like, I don't know. I just feel like Samoa Joe, he's got the mic skill. Anytime Samoa Joe's on TV, you're watching. You don't really get bored watching Samoa Joe, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. He's great on the mic and great performer.
Exactly. He's a presence.
100%. I've heard people say that they should make him Raw GM.
That'd be cool.
Because I don't think right now they're in a position to have him wrestle. I mean, maybe he's not retired. Maybe he comes back eventually. But right now, obviously, with this concussion problem, it seems like he's not going to wrestle. And I think that would be a badass spot for him to be. Because the way people put it on Twitter, it's not exactly my belief, but I agree with it, is that having somebody like Samoa Joe, who's a badass, who's, you know, you've seen him kick people's ass as the GM, it makes wrestlers actually a little bit intimidated by their GM respect him more.
It's like 2003 Stone Cold when he was the GM, you know.
Or it's like Vince. Anytime Vince is the GM, you know, because they're afraid of him. It's like,
and Ric Flair. Yeah. I mean, Ric Flair was a GM too.
Yeah,
they respected him.
Now, I'm just gonna say again, Ric Flair should not be at any of these shows anymore.
Yeah, that's dangerous. But
I don't know why he's still coming back. I mean,
But you're
I
not
get
going to
it.
tell Ric Flair no. If Ric Flair wants to do something, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I know, but why are you asking him in the first place? I get it. If he's,
I bet Rick's
doubt
asking himself.
Yeah.
This is he just wants to be with Randy, and I feel like maybe Randy didn't make it to. I mean, did Randy Orton show up at all? I think they're hinting that he was going to be like there to RKO, but he didn't, right?
No, he didn't show up. He was not on Raw.
They were saying though he's like backstage. He can strike at any time.
He's the Python.
Yeah, he's the Python. The Viper. Not the
Nah, it just doesn't sit well with me to have Ric Flair out there with all the cases positive.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ric Flair was on his deathbed having heart surgery a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I mean, the guy's not going to survive COVID if he gets it. So that's why I don't think he's going to come back anymore. I think this is just the last thing they recorded with him, but we'll see.
Damn, why is everyone calling me at 2:30? This is annoying. Or 2:55.
Yeah, why is your phone not on silent is the real question.
Yeah,
What'd you guys think about Seth asked for forgiveness segment?
It's getting a little repetitive to me.
It is. This has been the same shit same old shit.
So,
for the last
I was buying into it, and now it's just he's just saying the same thing on Raw, and it's just.
And then Aleister Black and Carrillo comes out, and then it's just like
I like the ending of it with the curbs up onto the steel steps.
Yeah.
With when he put Ray's mask on Humberto, but
I still think I think it ends now because Seth even said before they had that match, he's like, this ends now. So I think that it might be the last time they have that little feud going before.
I need Aleister to get out of this. Aleister
needs to be the lone. He needs to be
that's the biggest problem I have. I mean, he needs to be this generation's Aleister Black, not this generation's.
Sorry. But like I said, there was never
but we're on the same page.
WWE.
No, exactly. We're basically saying the same thing. I'm just kind of giving you crap.
I know.
But it's just I just don't love Aleister Black being the savior for Rey Mysterio. It just doesn't fit him at all.
He's not a savior. He's like, I don't want to say.
He's like Jeff Hardy fighting for the will of the Undertaker. Aleister Black is fighting for the will of Rey Mysterio. It's just
would be annoying. Yeah, if Undertaker was just like every week showing up being like best friends with and not saying a word. He doesn't say a single word. It seems like.
Yeah.
It's like imagine
he talked last night though for a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
When he came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's got to do his.
So do we all agree it's going to be Ray versus Seth like at SummerSlam, and then that feud's going to be over? And
unless they do it,
because I really want Seth. I mean, I love the Monday Night Messiah stuff, but I think I want Seth to go back to what he was before that and go for the WWE title again, and
I think just
stop with his whole
face.
Doesn't matter if he's face or no heel.
I agree, not as a face.
As a heel though, but like leave like Buddy Murphy and them alone. I think he needs to go solo again.
No,
I don't know about that. Maybe just a character change because I do think this is going to be beneficial for Theory and Murphy in the long run if they keep going with it.
I just think this storyline is wearing thin.
It is.
Like they had Ray and them come back, and now this week they have again Ray and Dominic gone, and Aleister Black and Humberto are fighting for the will of Ray again. It's like the same tag team match.
Humberto's been fighting for the will of Ray since like last October.
I know.
Like,
I really want to.
It's absurd.
I don't know how they're going to do this, but I really want to see Randy Orton right now versus Seth Rollins. Like, I mean, obviously they're both heels, but
you know what I would like?
I
would like Rey Mysterio to be a face character, but every time Humberto tries to like be like, "Good job," he's just like, "What the hell I say?" Like really mad and just doesn't like that everything Humberto's done for him.
Yeah, just tell him to screw off every time. It's like, Humberto, I never asked for your help. Get out of here, man.
Actually, that could be a rivalry.
Go back to main event.
Humberto, I know you've been helping me for the last year, but my son, he's gonna take your shot in the match tonight. Your spot in the match. Yeah, I don't know. Could be something. But yeah, I mean, any closing statements on the Seth Rollins? I disagree with you guys in the complete sense. With Max. I just think that Seth needs to just be a heel. He doesn't need to be doing this Messiah character necessarily.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I agree that he needs to be a heel. I was clarifying because Moose needs to go back to his old character.
Yeah.
So that I was just clarifying that he, but yeah, I think that he's fine. His character's okay, but he needs to do something new. He can't just keep doing the same thing over. It just gets repetitive and boring.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah, and
You're
then
not Jesus, bro.
yeah, right. And then what was the main event? I'm blanking out. The main event.
It's the mixed tag match.
The mixed
Yeah, the
tag match.
champions versus challenger match.
Yep. And then Dolph and Austin got the win there, which I thought was kind of smart. It makes sense that Sasha might lose. It could be Bayley's fault, maybe. Is that where
That's
going? Maybe that.
That's what I'm saying, because
yeah,
then they could, that's the start of their friendship dwindling.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I mean, it was a good tag team match. Dude, Drew is such a presence. He's such a monster. He looks so much bigger compared to
Yeah.
And dude, he's just a stud. But I thought it was interesting. I mean, of course, Asuka would get the pin. It was like a quick roll up, right?
What about this stipulation? Sorry, it's kind of changing the subject a little bit.
We're the ADHD podcast. That's fine.
What about this stipulation? Drew has to fight him with like one arm behind his back or some stupid thing like that.
Dude, I'd be so angry about that. I had to watch John Cena do that. John Cena had to do that and defend the title, and I hated it. But I don't know, whatever.
You can't put anything past WWE right now because I feel like they're kind of reaching in some aspects of the show, but.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of got a blank slate where they can do anything in this environment. So, I mean, I can commend them for, like, doing things like these cinematic matches. I'm excited for Bray versus Braun, but I think they got to stick to the basics with this one.
Got
to do, like, Extreme Rules or ladder. Yeah.
Do you think all matches at Extreme Rules be straight-up wrestling, or do you think there's going to be some cinematic
Bray versus Braun is going to be cinematic. Yeah. It's like a what's it called? Like a Wyatt, like – swamp match. Is it a swamp match?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a combination of like a horror film and like Terminator.
Yeah,
so like the horror show.
The horror show, I think, is based around that match. I think that's why they titled it the horror show. Extreme Rules, the horror show.
They should do SummerSlam.
Interesting.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yes. No, do it special Great Balls of Fire Ross like in like.
Yeah, dude. I missed that pay-per-view.
Every match is Inferno.
They need to stop having nicknames for the shows, like horror show, the greatest wrestling match ever.
It is a little silly. It's so gimmicky.
You
know what I mean? It's Vince. Vince is just on one right now. He must be like, why would he think to himself like?
I think that it's just everybody's getting not tired of the shows in the Performance Center, but I think Vince might feel that, so he's trying to like do things that are like interesting to make people think like it's like, oh, this is once in a lifetime. Probably is. You're probably never going to see Extreme Rules horror show ever again, so this probably is once in a lifetime.
And we'll always remember it as being like during this era and stuff. Yeah, no, that's.
This is definitely a memorable era. I think this is a time that we'll always remember for good or bad.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is going to be something to look back at. I mean, Monday Night Raw, it's sad because Monday Night Raw has had a lot of really good episodes over the last 3 months. And
they have.
Like,
this week wasn't
like
one.
They just offset it.
Yeah.
It's just like it's such a Vince move because Vince always has like those random in-between episodes that are just really bad or just seems like nonsensical.
Yeah. It's always like the first Raw after a pay-per-view is like good. Everything gets interesting, and then the next week, or maybe this is the third Raw after, but whatever. The next second one or the third one is just placeholder, and there's like nothing like
so placeholder-ish.
So like, they need to find a way to make like. Truthfully, what they need to do is they need to plan out 4 weeks of storylines for each of these things. The thing is that this Raw, I heard it to be rewritten a lot. That they taped, I think, stuff that they didn't even do. They didn't even show. They retaped it Saturday.
Yeah.
So this was definitely a rewrite show based around positive tests of COVID in WWE. So I guess maybe we have to lend them some slack just because they probably had they probably that they couldn't continue because they a short period of time. So
you're right. That is such a good point. I think
I just remember that. So I stopped.
Yeah, good point.
That they're truthfully after Extreme Rules, I think they should do maybe like a month hiatus and try to get everybody healthy. Try to like I love Raw and everything this week, but
I mean I think they might have to and just put like Monday Night Raw. Of course, will keep going. It could be just like interviews or like things to set up. Like they could do the UFC route where you're just like they do like a highlight show or like the way you have interviews. You can build it with like these like how NXT's kind of been doing it just so you can give them a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, or they could show older pay-per-views to get like more viewership to the product.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, they could do that too. There's a lot of things they can do to actually not just not have shows on at these times, but I doubt they're gonna do it. But I feel like I have a sneeze coming. Sorry, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
it's like when COVID first started, they showed the whole 2020 Rumble match. Like that'd be cool if they just did that. Like, like really good matches from the past like year or two, or past 5 years or whatever.
It'll be terrible ratings. I mean, I guess you're gonna have those diehards, of course. I don't really necessarily know how Nielsen works completely, but
yeah, there's definitely like kids that'll just turn it on and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's Royal Rumble! I've never seen this before."
Wrestling, I love it, dude. I they talk about this on my favorite podcast, Just Three Jobbers. Yeah, that's Aiden. Yeah.
Well, we talked about. We talked about pretty much everything on the show.
Yeah, I mean that was Monday Night Raw. SmackDown, unfortunately, was kind of like dedicated to Undertaker, so not too much memorable shit. I guess we're gonna get probably Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin for like the next start of his feud.
It's kind of what's been feuded, or that seems like that's what will be next. So
what would you guys give it as a rating?
Oh man, as a show, I'd give this like a 5 out of 10. I was not that. This was one of the episodes. This is the worst one I've seen in a while.
I was thinking 4.5 is what I went to. So
yeah, I was gonna go 4.
I like how they started it, and that's easy for me. I'm pumped to watch Monday Night Raw. You do something kind of cool and different. They start off with a fight, and then they get in, and then they fight again. Okay, I like that. It's just ending up with there was such a inconsequential ending to Monday Night Raw. Like a mixed tag match. Because it's like what why didn't you make the
It just wasn't
the winner
fluid.
gets to pick their winners get to pick their stipulation at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and I just didn't think it was like fluid. Like they had with Big Show came out, and then the Viking Raiders came out and beat up Andrade and Garza, and then there's just like
I know there's a match, and then Big Show had a match with It's sorry.
Why are they giving Andrade and Angel Garza a win and then just to job out to Big Show an hour later? It's like it makes no sense.
Exactly. No, it's so true, dude. But yeah, I mean that was Monday Night Raw. I hate to end on this note, but it was just not the best episode. But there were highlights, of course. We're excited for Extreme Rules. No doubt that's gonna be a good pay-per-view, I think. We just gotta get there.
And then Wednesday is gonna be great because it's the best night of wrestling. So.
Exactly. We'll
see you on
Thursday. We're going to be at 11 o'clock on Thursday recording, so we'll get to you right after. I'm going to get this posted today. But, yeah, follow us on Twitter and like and subscribe to our videos and our channel. See you guys later. Peace out. We love you.
Bye.